Tom. The brown-haired man threw the shovel over his shoulder and thought with a sullen grin about when he read about this man in the novel. He already knew that he was a capable person and would be able to easily guess if a stranger entered the body of the Baron's son. The embittered knight was immediately going to pull out his blade, because this guy is not to be trifled with, but there is no reason to worry because he has a special skill for such cases. Lloyd twisted his face in horror, his eyes wide, because he studied in secret from everyone and assumed that he could do it. A notification with a special skill of persistence popped up. Lloyd anxiously squeezed his body, approached the teacher, who told him that the young gentleman drank all day long. Lloyd realized that he was being watched every hour of the day, and maybe he used to be a real scoundrel, but he did not know anything about what he was doing all this time. Xavier indifferently looked away and asked how he could explain the skills of a spellcaster, because even a mage with a lot of experience sometimes cannot do this. Xavier stared at the brown-haired man next to him, who was excited, trying to justify himself, and asked him the answer to the question, how did he cope with mana himself? Although he was barely over 20, because no one taught him either, and he should be a genius, but Xavier did not consider himself one. Lloyd opened his mouth in horror even more, because he asked there, could he be a genius, why the teacher did not consider himself as such, because he assumed that he suddenly became a genius spellcaster. Xavier looked at him intently with sweat on his brow and did not trust. The knight watched as Lloyd immediately turned around with displeasure and began to leave, adding in pursuit that if he had nothing more to say, then he would go, because he still had things to do. Notification that there were with a special skill of fast conversation and persistence. The brown-haired man continued to walk forward and tried to calm down, because he realized that Xavier began to suspect him. Then on the way he met Bayern, while the workers were sorting out the bags, and asked him to monitor the progress of the work while he was gone. The knight in the coat replied that everything would be done and there was nothing to worry about. Then the brown-haired man looked back in surprise at the blue-haired knight, who wanted to go with him, because it was his duty to protect the young gentleman. Lloyd said with irony that such obvious things should not be